yearnings to my grandparents, of course, but then it passed, like everything does.
Ça fait tant d'amour, ça mange jamais. It's a waste of time. You can never get revenge. Vengeance just perpetuates evil. Turn the page on all these terrible things. You shouldn't dwell on it, it's over. Do something else, go in a new direction, because if you always carry hatred and vengeance inside you, you'll never find peace.
You don't get much more peaceful than Belgium today. It took another war, years of prosperity, treaties and institutions, and an understanding that you may forgive, you must never forget.
With me now is Dr. Katrina Pennell, a historian of both the First World War and the Middle East, David Richmond, a former commanding officer in Afghanistan who was injured in 2008 and is now the Director for Recovery and Help for Heroes, and Peter Owen, nephew of the renowned First World War poet Wilfred Owen. David Richmond first, how important is today to you?
I think today is fabric of the society type important and crucially important. It connects the current generation of people to the sacrifices of our great-great-grandfathers, and it through them connects to the current generation of servicemen who sacrificed hugely in Afghanistan and Iraq. And it means an enormous amount to servicemen serving abroad now and in future, that they know what they're doing, the sacrifices they're making won't be forgotten by the society they serve. So it's central, really.
Katrina Pennell, is there a danger that events like today sort of romanticise war in some way, when you can see the full horrors of conflict daily in Gaza?
Absolutely. I mean, I can understand why the government has sanctioned a ceremony like tonight's Westminster Abbey ceremony. It is appropriate that the tragedy that is the First World War is commemorated in a solemn way, but there's something a bit distanced really from the reality that the so-called war to end all wars, as the First World War was, or was intended to be, conflicts still rage to this day, conflicts that have a direct relationship to the aftermath of the First World War, and I'm talking in particular about the Middle East and what's going on in Gaza at the moment.
Peter Owen, I just want to quote something your uncle wrote. We only know war lasts, rain soaks, and clouds sag stormy. Is there a sense to you of the sort of futility of war and successive generations engaged in conflict?
I think that Wilfred basically found the First World War futile and was absolutely upset at it ever happening, but based all his poetry on the truth as he saw it. Because as he said, a poet must be truthful, because otherwise people are not going to know. So that was his belief. And I think he would have thought that war was futile, as does everyone else, essentially.
David Richmond, do you understand that viewpoint?
Oh, I do indeed. Yeah, I think the First World War touched every community in the country. It touched that community deeply. The challenge of today's conflict is, of course, it doesn't touch every community necessarily. It's a very distant thing, although it's played out in your living room nightly on the news.
So does that 24-hour news undermine public support for conflict, do you think?
It has the potential to. I think it's crucial that what people think of war, or the operations servicemen are deployed on, doesn't affect their support for the servicemen themselves and the servicewomen. And that's something that Help Heroes we really push hard, that it's the service people you support, not necessarily the conflict.
Well, Katrina Pennell, the Europeans created the modern Middle East. Did we, in a sense, sow the seeds for the decades of conflict and the conflict now?
Absolutely, and I think the British government at the time in particular has particular blood on their hands for the creation of the modern Middle East that we know today. I mean, out of the ashes of what was the Ottoman Empire, the British had the leading role because of its dominant position after the First World War to create what we now know as the state system, with all of its ethnic and religious tension, all of its false borders, the contradictory promises that were made to competing interest groups, and I'm thinking in particular the Palestinians and the Zionist groups that were both interested in the land of Palestine that was part of the Ottoman Empire.
So the war to end all wars?
Well, it wasn't. And I think the war to end all wars is a fabulous aspiration that sadly I don't think it'll ever be.
Peter, and what would Wilfred have made of what's going on now?
I think pure tragedy. His poetry he wrote to try and influence people, and that he thought might be his legacy. It is not his legacy. His legacy is that other people wrote poetry, not that anything has done anything about the war that he wrote about based on his personal experiences.
And we were as unable to end, the violence of World War One then as now. We seem sort of paralysed in the face of it, don't we? Why is that?
I'm not sure I agree with you there, really. I think, particularly in current conflicts today, there is plenty that governments could be doing and should be doing. And
They're not doing it though, are
I don't think they are, no. And I would implore those dignitaries that are sat in the silence and solemnity of Westminster Abbey tonight to think about those people that are dealing with conflict on a daily basis, the civilians that have to survive conflict on a daily basis, not just the veterans.
David Richmond?
I think war's really messy. Rarely will it ever give you a clear-cut, defined answer. And I think as society develops and our politicians and our leaders need to be really comfortable with dealing with something which is inherently messy and bloody.
Peter Owen, David Richmond, Peter Purnell, thank you very much for joining me. Well, let's go to other news now. And no one should wait more than a year for an operation. That's the promise the Health Secretary made today. Jeremy Hunt is giving hospitals in England £240